Have you ever seen armies join in protest against what? The government before? Bro, this thing happens in where? Ivory Coast. Hey, God. See, there were a group of multitude of protesters. They were literally protesting. Bro, what happened is where armies coming, approaching them. Bro, these protesters were literally shocked to the spine. Hey, God. You understand? They say these armies that they come to protest against them, or maybe to fire tear gas, or able to, you understand, to carry people, they aim at them. Bro, when these armies approach, the next thing when protesters see was army carrying their destiny up. You understand? And they say they are shouting that they need change. Against who? Against the president who have refused that the younger generation, or better still, another person should take over power. Bro, it is the first time that civilians in Africa will say to their army that the armies will love you. An army protesting with civilians. The question is, who dares stop them? Ah, God, bro. This incident was mentally draining and mentally surprising to the extent that the protesters literally shed tears come from their eyes.
Yeah, because I'm here this morning. My name is Mr. Guadio. I'm a civil servant in Britain. I'm here to denounce a dictatorship going on in Africa, precisely in a country called Ivory Coast, one of the richest countries in Ivory Coast. Yeah, a dictator has been eliminating all the potential candidates. He's been in power for 15 years. He wants to run for a fourth term, which will make him 20 years. We said no. We said we want democracy. Everyone needs to run. We want him. Since he's been in power, there hasn't been free education. There's no free healthcare. There's no freedom of speech in Ivory Coast. He's a pure dictator. And I'm here to cry out to Britain, to this home of democracy, the birthplace of democracy, to do something in Ivory Coast. To do something in Ivory Coast. To cast an eye what's going on there before it's too late. Because we think there'll be a civil war in October when the election happens. Yet one of the richest countries. Do you know Ivory Coast is the first producer of cocoa beans, the third producer of coffee beans? So when you go to Costa or Starbucks, most likely your coffee comes from Ivory Coast. Yet it's a poor country because of corruption. Because of corruption in Ivory Coast. And this is under a man called Alassane Ouattara. So we want it out of office. We want new people like Tidiane Thiam, like Laurent Gbagbo, like Soro Guillaume, and like Blegude. We got potential in Ivory Coast. Thank you.
The Ivory Coast president was spotted hiding in France. This is after situation in Ivory Coast court was the army, the police, the people. They are on the streets protesting. In fact, right now they just want him to step down. This is the third day. They are still protesting, demanding for him to step down. This is after the president voted to be the president of Ivory Coast again. Can you believe this? African Union, they are not saying anything. ECOWAS, they are not saying anything. The only thing that they are doing is to go after Sahel state. That is Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, stating that they want democracy in these countries. Yet that is democracy in Ivory Coast. But this president of Ivory Coast, he's been the president of Ivory Coast for the last 14 years. In fact, more than 14 years. He is 83 years old. The people of Ivory Coast, they don't want him to be the president anymore. But African Union and ECOWAS, they are not doing anything. They are just sitting down and watching. People of Ivory Coast, they are tired. And the only thing that the president could have done is just to flee out of the country. And maybe if Emmanuel Macron told him to come to France, that he's going to protect him. The Ivorian people, they are saying that enough is enough. They don't want him anymore. They are tired of him. He has not done anything for the country, and this is the main reason why they don't want him.
The people of Ivory Coast took on the streets of Abidjan protesting against their president Alassane Ouattara to step down from the office of the president. This man wants to run for the fourth time in their country, and he has been in that office for over 15 years, an 83-year-old man for that matter. Now, the protest was so massive with all the youth of Ivory Coast backed up by their soldiers. The people say that what they are seeing in Ivory Coast as democracy is not what they want. That the West and the France government should go with their democracy. That they will prefer what is happening in Burkina Faso to happen in their country, instead of them to be deceived with the word democracy, where they are seeing nothing for over 15 years that this man has been in office. This man was trying to silence the opposition party from taking part in the forthcoming election. This was part of what led to this protest, which has now escalated into a very serious demonstration in Ivory Coast. The militaries are all on the streets protecting the protesters. Now, at the age of 83, he's still pushing to comfort and trying to silence the opposition parties. Now, what do you guys think about this move by the Ivory Coast citizens? Do you think that other African countries should emulate this particular act of revolutionary movement in their country? Let me know what you think in the comment section, and follow this page if you want more updates like this.
Africans are tired of bad leaders, of corruption. Guys, revolution is happening all over Africa. This time around, it is happening in Ivory Coast. Heavy protests started in Ivory Coast yesterday, being 9th of August 2025. Guys, let me tell you people this. This time around, including junior soldiers, have joined the citizens protesting against this current president of Ivory Coast, Alassane Ouattara, this Western puppet that have been ruling Ivory Coast since 2010. They have been working with Emmanuel Macron, the France president. Could you believe this? This man wants to go for another term, 4th term. In Ivory Coast, this man has refused to step down. Do you know what this man did? In 2016, this man changed presidential time limit. This means that this man can contest, can be in power as long as he wants in Ivory Coast. Another thing this man did, a rival, a man that can defeat him in this upcoming election that will happen on October, this man banned that particular man from contesting. Now the citizens are protesting. You must allow this man to contest for presidential election in Ivory Coast. But this man, Ouattara, insists that that man will not contest. This is what is happening here in Africa. In Ivory Coast right now, the youth are protesting heavily. It's either you step down or you allow this your rival to contest for presidential election. One of them must happen in Ivory Coast. Guys, as I'm telling you right now, you won't believe what is going on in Ivory Coast. Heavy protests happening. Thousands of youth, they came out yesterday and are still coming out today to protest against this current president. Ouattara, a Western puppet that have never done anything tangible for the people of Ivory Coast before since 2010. This man wants to replace Paul Pierre. He wants to rule for 40 years in Ivory Coast. And the Western leaders are not seeing this. They are not calling him a dictator.
Alassane Ouattara has not done anything good ever since he came into power. The people, made it publicly that Alassane Ouattara is being controlled by US and France. Also, Alassane Ouattara, the sitting president, is not part of the AES, the Sahel states, including including Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. You see, they are facing economic hardship. Things are not going on in La Côte d'Ivoire. And you see, now the good news is that they have the military power. The military is now backing the people for the protests. Yeah. So now the citizens are no more interested in democracy, because according to them, democracy, they can't develop the country by democracy. So now they've chosen revolution. This is what they want. Revolution, like what is going on in Burkina Faso. Ever since Ibrahim Traoré came into power, see the good things this president is doing. A coup president. He is, doing a lot of projects in Burkina Faso. There are roads, school, you see, facilities, infrastructure, a whole lot. This guy is handling the country very well. And the people of Ivory Coast, they also want the same thing in their country. Because Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, you see, are not practicing democracy, but they are developing their state. Everything is going on well for them.
On est fatigué, go, go. On est est fatigué de la situation dans laquelle nous sommes. On est fatigué parce que le marché coûte cher. On est fatigué parce que nos enfants ne travaillent pas. On est fatigué parce que nous, les mamans, nous n'en pouvons plus. La situation du pays, nos enfants sont sous l'emprise de la drogue. Nos maris n'ont pas de travail. Nous-mêmes, nous n'arrivons pas à nous en sortir. On est fatigué, on veut un pays de paix. On veut que tous les candidats soient inscrits sur la liste électorale. Le président, a commencé par le président Tidiane, qu'il soit inscrit sur la liste électorale. Parce qu'aujourd'hui, la justice a reconnu que le président Tidiane est ivoirien. Donc, on est fatigué que tous les opposants soient inscrits sur la liste.
Welcome back to Gist-Line. Ivory Coast is on fire again, and this time is not because of an outside invasion, but because of the people themselves standing up against their own president. Recently, thousands of Ivorians took to the streets to protest against their president, accusing him of betraying his own people and his citizens while dancing to the tunes of colonial masters. Now, let's be real. Ivory Coast is one of the richest countries in West Africa. From cocoa, coffee, oil and gold, the country should be thriving. But instead of seeing developments, jobs and a better life, many Ivorians are living in poverty while the president continues to straighten ties with France and foreign corporations who benefit more from the country's resources than the people themselves. Now, what hurts most is that the same leaders who are supposed to defend their people are the ones working against them. Ouattara has been accused of turning the state into a playground for foreign interests, especially for the French. While ordinary Ivorians are struggling to survive, foreign companies are getting richer every day, shipping out the nation's wealth like is theirs to take. The protesters are not just angry about policies, they are angry about betrayal. They are saying enough is enough. Africans are tired of leaders who bow to external powers while ignoring the cries of their people. Ivory Coast, with all its wealth, it should be a shining example of prosperity in Africa. But what we see is a president who seems more interested in protecting colonial structures than liberating his own nation. This protest is bigger than just Ivory Coast. It's a symbol of what's happening all across Africa. Leaders siding with the West instead of standing with their own people. The youths are waking up, the masses are speaking out, and the pressure is building. If Ouattara refuses to listen, he risks pushing Ivory Coast into deeper instability, and history will remember him not as a builder, but as a puppet of colonial powers. The question now is simple. Will he change course and stand with Ivorians, or will he continue to serve the same powers that enslaved Africa for centuries? The streets are already speaking. Now, let's hear what others have to say about this, but before then, let me know what you think in the comment section, and please like, share and subscribe.
The picture you see up on my phone screen are people of Ivory Coast protesting against their bad government. People of Ivory Coast are not protesting because they've been massacred on daily basis. They are not protesting because they cannot afford 1 square meal in a day. They are not protesting because they have poorest border among all the borders in Africa. They are not protesting because their safety is not guaranteed. But they are protesting because the present government want to rule them again. It was the government have continued to rule them, and they want to put an end to that. Now, for this reason, this multitude of people took on street to protest against their present government. What you need to know is Ivory Coast have about 32 million people. 9 million register for votes. Now, out of the 9 million that register for vote, 2 million come outside to protest against the present government. Now look at the multitude of people on streets of Ivory Coast. Now, can you tell me that the government will now see this multitude of people and shoot at them? It can never happen. The least the government will do is want to negotiate with them or run out of the country. Now, mind you, the people protesting are not just youth. Even the old people are tired. They are out there protesting. That is what I tell my Nigerian brothers and sisters every blessed day. You cannot come outside in 100 and expect the government not to shoot at you. You are few. Nigerians are 230 million plus by population, and if they are angry and they want to come outside for protest, the protester will not be more than 10,000, 20,000, 50,000. That is the least, and you expect the government not to shoot at you. You guys are few. Even the 50,000 I mentioned is overrated. I'm not sure Nigerian protesters are even up to 10,000 on streets whenever they are planning for their protests. Now, they will litter in some few states, not all the states. Now, the list of every state, at least they will be having 1,000, 2,000 protesters. Is that one a protest? And most time when our youth are protesting, our mothers, the elderly people, will sit down at home and be watching us protesting. Some of our parents will even advise us, don't go there, make them no go buy you. But in other countries, their elderly people and the youth come outside together and protest for the betterment of the country. It's only Nigerian that you see when our old people come outside to protest, and most of the old people coming outside to protest are people from the middle belt part of Nigeria and Enugu part of Nigeria, sometimes northern part of Nigeria. And these our elderly people don't always protest because of the bad governance. Is when they attack them on the farm, or maybe they start raping their women and all of that. That is when these our women will come outside in masses to protest. So that is to say, if something ever touch them, they know they come outside. But when it comes to other country, it's not always like that. Individual of those countries will come outside to protest. And for you to know that we Nigerians, we are social media warrior. Do you know the people that protest in NSAS, they are not even up to 1 million, but the tweet with hashtag NSAS, according to Wikipedia, 28 million Nigerian hashtag and tweet NSAS, but 1 million Nigerians cannot go on street to protest against their bad governance. So that is to say, we cry more on internet than going out there to do the necessary thing. Anyway, share your thought on the comment section responsibly, and for those that love to cry responsibly on the comment section. Thank you.
Omo, see crowd. This one and another one. Yes, this one another one. This was done about 2 days ago. Over 500,000 people came out for one particular spot. Not be the one they do for another place. So over 500,000 people came out. Omo, as a Nigerian, what will be now as a foreigner here? What we owe now? We don't need to dey panic, but what we just need to do is say, let's just put the country in prayers. You understand? Maybe we just put the country in prayers. Let's just pray for the country, so there will be a peaceful election and all that. You understand? Don't be say you want run, you want. Let's pray. And again, the way people they talk say, nothing go happen, nothing go. Don't let anybody tell you that kind of talk. Don't let anybody tell you that kind of talk. The one we happen 2010, nothing go happen. We pray, make nothing happen. You understand? But as it stands now, now prayer. Let's just pray for the betterment of Côte d'Ivoire. Let us pray for a peaceful election. You understand? See crowd. 500,000 people came out for one spot to. We never even they talk the ones who come out different. You know. You understand? So that just it. Stay safe. Stay in your house. Day of the election. The election now will be now October. You understand? The election in October. So stay safe. If you know say you want to travel, go Nigeria. If you start to travel by next month, because it's a must. They must block. They must close border. You understand? So now it's as I tell you now. So if you know say you want day, buy things from next month. They put inside house. You get, and all we have to do is pray for the country. Pray for a peaceful election. There will be no problem. There will be no trouble. You understand? Anyone where God don't elect, make it rule. You understand? Peace and love. God bless Côte d'Ivoire. God bless the people. God bless Ivorians. Voilà, c'est ça. Dieu va te bénisse les Ivorians. On ensemble, c'est une famille. Voilà. Amen.
Is there going to be a coup in the Ivory Coast? Because that's what people are starting to say. The military, the people, they are fed up with their president. They want him gone. They want Alassane Ouattara gone, and they don't want to see him again. This is after the 83-year-old said that he's going to run for a 4th term. People are saying, no, we do not even want to see you in the ballots. And now there's rumors. There's rumors floating around that the Ivory Coast is going to go the same way that Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso did. They are going to attempt a coup. So this is just crazy. The people, the citizens of the Ivory Coast, they're out in the streets protesting Alassane Ouattara. They're telling him, no, we don't want to see you as a leader anymore. This man has been in power for very long, 3 full terms, and he has not done anything of significance. All he does is cozy up with the Americans and the French. He invited the Americans to come and build an airbase in the Ivory Coast, and we all know that the American airbases, they are just for surveillance. They want to survey the neighboring countries, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, the countries that they are not invited to. Now now there's an airbase in the Ivory Coast just for the Americans to fly their drones and just surveil those countries. There's rumors of a coup happening, but it's not happening yet. But as soon as it happens, I'll be sure to let you know.
So we have some major breaking news coming from Ivory Coast. The protests in Ivory Coast continue for the third day in a row, and their message is one: their president Alassane Ouattara should not vie again to become the president of Ivory Coast. The 83-year-old who still wants to be in power is being supported by the French and still wants to cling in power. And let me tell you, the people in Ivory Coast are saying enough is enough. We do not want a person who does not support our neighbors, who has been putting foreign nations even before the people of Ivory Coast, and they are saying enough is enough. Alassane Ouattara has to go home. It is also turning out that Alassane Ouattara wanted to be the only candidate in a presidential election after he denied another candidate to be the ballot in the name of saying that that candidate had dual citizenship and cannot vie to become the president of Ivory Coast. It is also turning out that the brother to the president of Ivory Coast is the commander of the armed forces, and many of his family members are in the government, taking all the positions.
A massive protest is going on in Ivory Coast for the third day in a row against their president, Alassane Ouattara, for the exclusion of opposition leaders. For the upcoming presidential election, this man is 83 years old and is seeking to contest for the fourth time in a row. A lot of population gather in Yopougon, Abidjan, saying enough is enough. The funniest part of this all is their military is backing the crowd. The military is backing the population that is protesting, and they are holding banners saying enough is enough, that they should give another candidate the chance to rule. Their election is supposed to hold by October this year, and former President Gbagbo is one of the candidates, and former Credit Suisse chief executive Tidiane Thiam is another candidate contesting. The incumbent president of Ivory Coast, Alassane Ouattara, is now doing everything to make sure his opposition will not contest against him. So the military, the citizen are telling their president, their incumbent president, Alassane Ouattara, to step down, because this same president is supporting the French against Burkina Faso. Most of the weapons that is getting into Burkina Faso passes through Ivory Coast, through their president, Alassane Ouattara. This man is doing everything against the revolution that is going on in Africa. This is what we want to hear. This is what we are talking about. The military are supporting them. Definitely, there's no way to suppress that type of crowd. There's no way to suppress that uproar. We shall see what's happening in the coming days. Thank you, and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks. Guys, kindly follow up my backup page. It's showing on the screen right now, and I will be posting a lot of updates there.
On Saturday, August 9th, 2025, something spectacular, something remarkable happened in Côte d'Ivoire. And what happened there? The population of Yopougon, located in Abidjan, took to the streets in their thousands to protest against Alassane Ouattara's fourth term that he is about to undertake. They are calling it a constitutional coup d'etat. The people of Côte d'Ivoire are saying no to Alassane Ouattara's fourth term. This is the same Alassane Ouattara when he took over power in 2011. And for those who remember the events that led to him taking over power, the killings, the destruction of properties, the bombing of the presidential palace back then in 2011 when Laurent Gbagbo was still the president, with support of the French military, supported and supervised by Nicolas Sarkozy back then. This same Ouattara who sent a message to late President Robert Mugabe asking him to go and rest, that he should hand over power. This same Ouattara who said he was going to run just for 2 terms and hand over power to a younger generation. He is the same person who went in for the 3rd term, and now he is going in for the 4th term after changing the constitution. And the people are calling that a constitutional coup d'etat. So why are the people of Côte d'Ivoire protesting? Not only is he running for the 4th term, which is unconstitutional, he has also eliminated major opposition members from the electoral process. People like Tidjane Thiam, people like Laurent Gbagbo, people like Soro Guillaume, people like Charles Blé Goudé, all these major opposition actors, he kicked them out of the electoral process, blocking them from becoming candidates. Now the question is, if you claim to be a good person, if you claim that you have been doing well for your people, why are you scared of the opposition candidates? So those are the many things that the people are protesting against, and plus they are saying that they are suffering, they don't have jobs, they have difficulties to eat, things are difficult, things are hard in Côte d'Ivoire. That is why the people of Côte d'Ivoire went to the street to say no to a 4th term, no to the fact that you are kicking key actors of the electoral process, that is the opposition party members, out of the electoral process, and we are not going to accept to that. In the middle of all this, ECOWAS is silent. ECOWAS is silent. The African Union is silent. But when it comes to the Sahel, you would see them running their mouths right now that they have to address the situation in Côte d'Ivoire. They are not saying anything. It's the same thing that happened in Togo. ECOWAS was silent. The AU was silent. If it's to make statements against the Sahel leaders, they are very fast. They are very quick to say that. That is the hypocrisy of the so-called ECOWAS, of the so-called AU. That is why for us African youths, as far as we are concerned, those so-called organizations are non-existent. So that is what is going on in Côte d'Ivoire, lovely people. I thought it was necessary to update everyone in the family regarding that. And so let me also know what you think in the comment section regarding what's going on. I don't know if you have been following events in Côte d'Ivoire, but drop your thoughts in the comment section and feel free to follow me if you have not done so. Like this video, share to as many as possible. Thank you so much, and see you in my next one.
Guys, the government of Burkina Faso has ordered the government of Ivory Coast to submit the body of Alassane Faso. You know, Alassane Faso was a citizen of Burkina Faso, and he resides in Ivory Coast, and also an activist. So he was always promoting the things that are happening in Burkina Faso, always talking about the things that are happening in Burkina Faso. So the government of Ivory Coast arrested him, kept him in detention without no trial, and Alassane Faso was unalive. The statement they brought out, because they refused to bring out any statement, but the statement they later brought out was that Alassane Faso committed suicide in detention. While looking at his body and the investigation, he has a lot of bruises all over his body. While protest was going on in Burkina Faso, the government of Ivory Coast gave a statement that Alassane Faso was a traitor, a spy, a Burkina-based spy that was living in Ivory Coast to give report of everything that is happening in Ivory Coast. And the government of Burkina Faso has says enough is enough. It's either Ivory Coast return the body of Alassane Faso or they go to war with them. That's the latest around the Sahel states, latest around Africa right now. Yes, the government of Burkina Faso has says enough is enough. It's either the government of Ivory Coast submit the remains of Alassane Faso, a Burkinabe citizen, a Burkinabe activist that was unalive in Ivory Coast by Ivory Coast government, and they claim he committed suicide in detention, that they should submit either the remains or they go to war with Ivory Coast. Guys, look at this whole thing. Ivory Coast, I don't know Alassane Ouattara why he's so heartless at becoming a Western puppet forever. He has captured Ivory Coast and he has become a Western puppet, a puppet to Emmanuel Macron. So now the Burkinabe government are pushing hard to recover the remains of Alino Faso, their citizen who was murdered in Ivory Coast, or Ivory Coast face the other side of Burkina Faso. That's the latest around Africa right now.